A woman is screaming just outside the cockpit door. A knife flashes, someone drops to the floor, and blood spreads across the aisle. The man holding the blade shouts that he will kill everyone unless the door opens right now. Inside the cockpit, Captain Maya Reyes does not move. Her hands stay steady. Her voice stays calm, even as another life is being taken 10 feet away. Then something impossible happens. Two military helicopters rise up beside the airliner, flying so close passengers can see the pilots' faces. A stunned voice crackles over the emergency radio, asking one question that freezes Maya's blood. Kestrel, is that really you? The hijacker has no idea what that name means yet. He doesn't know this plane was the worst one he could have chosen. And he definitely doesn't know that the woman he's threatening already decided how this ends. Before the story continues, comment below and tell me where you're watching from, because this one proves some pilots never stop being warriors. 6 hours earlier, this flight was supposed to be forgettable, the kind of flight no one ever tells stories about. Captain Maya Reyes sat in the left seat, running through her checklist with calm, practiced focus. Switches checked, gauges green, fuel balanced, everything exactly where it should be. She had done this thousands of times, and today was meant to be just another line in the logbook. Coastal Air Flight 218, Orlando to Chicago. A simple morning departure, smooth weather up the coast, nothing unusual, nothing risky. The goal was always the same: get everyone there safely and quietly. Beside her, First Officer Liam Parker scanned his displays, youthful energy still showing in the way he talked too much when he was nervous. "Looks clean, Captain," he said, tapping the screen. "Clear skies all the way. Should be an easy ride." Maya nodded, eyes never leaving the instruments. "Easy is good," she replied. Easy means everyone walks off smiling. She keyed the intercom, her voice steady and reassuring. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Flight 218 to Chicago. Our flight time today is just under 3 hours, with smooth air expected the whole way. Sit back, relax, and we'll have you there shortly." It was the voice passengers trusted. The voice that made flying feel routine, controlled, almost boring. What no one in the cabin could hear was the other voice inside her head. The one trained to expect disaster even when the sky looked perfect. As the aircraft lifted off the runway and climbed into the morning light, Maya felt that familiar calm settle in. The city shrinking below, the clouds parting ahead. For a moment, everything was exactly how she wanted it. Normal, quiet, predictable. She didn't know yet that this was the last peaceful second of the flight. At cruising altitude, the cabin fell into its usual rhythm. Seatbelt signs off, laptops open, coffee carts rolling, life returning to normal. Maya eased back in her seat as the autopilot took over, watching the horizon stretch endlessly ahead. This was the part of flying she loved most, when the noise of takeoff faded and the sky felt calm and distant. Liam handed her a cup of coffee, already knowing how she took it. "Black, no sugar," he said with a grin. "You fly with someone long enough, you start memorizing the important stuff." She took a sip and winced. "Still terrible," she said. "Still caffeine," he replied. There was a pause, the kind that comes when someone is deciding whether to ask a question. "You ever miss flying military?" Liam asked, trying to sound casual. Maya's hand stopped for just a heartbeat. Then she shrugged, eyes forward. "Not really," she said. "Airplanes are airplanes." But that wasn't true, and they both knew it. Liam studied her for a moment. "You fly like you're waiting for something to go wrong," he said quietly. "Like you've seen it happen before." Maya didn't answer right away. Outside the window, sunlight spilled across the wing, bright and peaceful. But her mind wasn't there. It was somewhere colder, darker. Mountains rushing up through night vision goggles, rotors shaking under fire, voices shouting coordinates through static. Men bleeding, counting on her to land where no sane pilot would. That was another life, another name. A call sign she had buried along with the memories. She finally spoke, her voice even. "When you've been in this job long enough," she said, "you learn to expect the unexpected." Liam nodded, sensing the line he shouldn't cross. "Fair enough," he said, turning back to his instruments. Maya watched the sky ahead, forcing the memories back down. She hadn't left the military because she was afraid. She left because she was tired of carrying lives in her hands, tired of flying knowing someone might not make it home. Airlines were supposed to be different. No gunfire, no enemies, no impossible choices. Just passengers, tickets, and safe landings. She told herself that life was over, that the pilot known as Kestrel no longer existed. Only Captain Maya Reyes remained, level at 37,000 feet, believing, just for now, that the past would stay buried. The warning chime cut through the cockpit without mercy. 3 sharp beeps, the kind that meant this was not routine, not something that could wait. Maya's eyes snapped to the intercom. "Flight deck," she answered instantly. It was Naomi Park, the lead flight attendant, and her voice was controlled but tight, like a wire pulled too far. "Captain, we have a problem in the cabin," she said. "Passenger in seat 12A is aggressive and demanding access to the cockpit." Maya's jaw set. "What kind of demands?" Naomi lowered her voice, even though no one else could hear her. "He says he has a device," she whispered, "and he's threatening people nearby if we don't open the door." The cockpit went silent. Liam turned pale, staring at Maya, waiting for her reaction. Maya didn't raise her voice, didn't rush her words. "Do not approach him," she said firmly. "Move other passengers away if you can, and keep communication open." She ended the call and looked at Liam. "This is real," she said, calm but absolute. "Cockpit stays sealed, no matter what happens out there." Liam swallowed hard. Even then, Maya cut in. "That door does not open." Her hand moved to the transponder, fingers steady as she set the emergency hijack code. In control towers miles away, alarms would already be lighting up. Their quiet flight had just become a priority for every radar on the coast. She keyed the radio, her tone professional, measured. "Center, Coastal Air 218 declaring an emergency. Hijack threat on board. Cockpit secure. Requesting immediate assistance and diversion to nearest suitable airport." The response came fast, stripped of all casual chatter. 218, emergency acknowledged. Maintain heading. Military assets are being notified. Before Maya could reply, a heavy impact slammed into the cockpit door. The reinforced metal shuddered under the force. Then a man's voice came through, thick with anger and an unfamiliar accent. "Captain," he shouted, "I know you hear me. Open this door, or I start killing people." Liam's breath caught in his throat. Maya didn't answer the voice. She stared straight ahead, already calculating time, distance, options. Outside the cockpit, the countdown had begun, and every second was about to cost something. The next dudar against the cockpit door was louder, closer. Maya could hear it clearly now, not just the force, but the panic in the cabin behind it. The man's voice came again, slow and deliberate, like he was enjoying this. "I have 3 people right here," he said. "One scream, one move, and they're dead." Maya closed her eyes for half a second, then keyed the cabin intercom. Her voice carried through the aircraft, calm but unbreakable. "This is the captain speaking. I will not open this door under any circumstances. You cannot fly this aircraft, and you will not gain access to this cockpit. We are diverting to an airport where law enforcement is waiting. The only outcome for you is arrest." The reply was instant, violent. "You think I care about arrest?" the man screamed. "You think your rules matter to me?" Through the reinforced door, Maya heard crying, begging. A woman's voice cracked as she pleaded for her life. Liam turned toward the door, his hand hovering inches from the lock, shaking. "Maya," he whispered. "What if he's serious?" "He doesn't get in," Maya said, her voice hard now. "If he gets control of this cockpit, everyone dies." The hijacker began counting. Slow, loud, cruel. Each number felt like a hammer striking the inside of her chest. Then came the scream. Short, sharp, and suddenly cut off. Silence followed, thick and unbearable. Naomi's voice broke through the intercom, no longer controlled, no longer professional. "Captain," she sobbed. "He stabbed her. There's blood everywhere." The cabin erupted. People screaming, crying, praying, shouting. The sound pressed against the cockpit door like a wave. Liam made a strangled sound, tears streaming down his face. "We have to open it," he said, desperate. "We can't just sit here while he kills them." Maya grabbed his wrist, stopping him cold. Her grip was iron, her eyes locked on his. "If we open that door, he kills everyone," she said. "This is the line we do not cross." Outside, the man laughed, calm now, satisfied. "You hear that, Captain," he said. "That's what happens when you don't listen." I will kill another in 2 minutes. And then another. And another. Maya stared at the instruments, her reflection staring back at her. She had trained her whole life for moments like this. Moments where there were no good choices, only the least deadly one. And she knew, with terrifying certainty, the worst part of this flight was just beginning. Maya's hand moved to a radio she hadn't touched in years. A frequency every military pilot monitored, a channel meant for last chances and desperate calls. Any military aircraft monitoring guard, she said evenly. This is Coastal Air 218. We have an active hijacking with hostages on board. Immediate fatalities have already occurred. I need tactical support now. For a moment, there was nothing but static. Liam stared at her, confused, barely holding himself together. Then a sharp, disciplined voice cut through the noise. Coastal 218, this is Thunder Flight. Black Hawk unit inbound from Hunter. ETA 5 minutes. 5 minutes was an eternity. Outside the cockpit, the hijacker was still talking, still threatening, still counting lives. Maya leaned closer to the radio. Thunder, I cannot surrender this cockpit, she said. He will continue executions every 2 minutes until I do. I need an option that ends this without opening the door. There was hesitation on the other end. 218, confirm authority for tactical coordination. That requires verification. Maya inhaled slowly. She had promised herself she would never use that name again. Never open that door back to who she used to be. But there was no room for pride now. Only time, and lives running out. Thunder, she said quietly. This is Kestrel. Authorization code Sierra Hotel 27 Mike. The radio went dead silent. Seconds passed that felt like minutes. Then disbelief flooded the channel. Say again. Did you say Kestrel? Affirmative, Maya replied, her voice changing, sharpening. Kestrel on frequency. Another voice cut in, younger, almost stunned. Holy Kestrel. We studied your missions and training. You're real. Maya didn't react to the words. Something inside her had already shifted. The airline captain faded into the background, and the pilot who flew into gunfire stepped forward. Thunder Flight, situation update, she said crisply. Single hijacker, knife confirmed, possible bluff device. 1 hostage deceased, 2 remaining at cockpit door. Hijacker believes I will break. I will not. A beat, then respect filled the channel. Copy all, Kestrel. What's your intent? Maya's eyes moved across the flight displays, calculations forming instantly. I'm going to make him believe he's lost, she said. I need you visible to passengers. Close enough to scare him. Close enough that he thinks you can breach this aircraft midair. There was a pause, then a quiet response. Kestrel, that's dangerous for a commercial jet. I know exactly how dangerous, Maya replied. Do you trust me? Another pause, shorter this time. We trust Kestrel. Maya reached for the controls. Muscle memory waking up like it had never slept. Good, she said. Because once this starts, there's no going back. Maya keyed the cabin intercom one last time. Her voice was steady, but it carried a weight everyone could feel. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain. We are experiencing an in-flight emergency that requires an immediate descent. Fasten your seatbelts, secure all loose items, and follow crew instructions. Then she disconnected the autopilot. The familiar chimes sounded, and the aircraft was suddenly hers again, fully and completely. She pushed the control column forward. The nose dropped hard, and the world tilted. Altitude numbers spun backward, alarms screamed, warning lights flashed across the panel. Liam sucked in a breath as the aircraft dove far steeper than anything he had ever flown. Maya, he gasped. We're descending too fast. Strap in, she replied, eyes locked ahead. This is within limits. In the cabin, passengers screamed as gravity seemed to vanish. Loose bags slammed into ceilings, drinks spilled, bodies lurched forward against belts. The aircraft roared as speed climbed, air tearing past the fuselage. Outside, the sky rushed upward to meet them. 30,000 feet, 28, 25, dropping at a rate no commercial passenger ever expects to feel. The hijacker shouted in confusion, his balance lost, his control shaken by the sudden violence of the maneuver. His confidence cracked, just enough. Thunder, Maya said into the radio, calm in the chaos. Kestrel descending now. Time to intercept. Kestrel, Thunder flight is 90 seconds out. Maintain heading. The aircraft shuddered as it punched through layers of air, windows frosting briefly from the temperature shift. Liam gripped his seat, eyes wide, but he stayed with her, trusted her. Then Maya saw them. Dark shapes climbing fast from below, rotors slicing the air. Two Black Hawks rising like predators, closing the distance with terrifying speed. "They're coming," Liam whispered, almost to himself. "Thunder flight. When you reach us," Maya said. "I need door gunners visible. I need this to look real." "Copy that," came the reply. "We're putting on a show." The helicopters slid into position, one off each side, matching the dive, matching the speed. Close enough that passengers could see helmets, weapons, eyes locked forward. The airliner leveled at 10,000 feet, but the danger didn't fade. The storm had only moved from the sky into the cabin. And somewhere behind the cockpit door, the man with the knife realized, for the first time, that he might not be the most dangerous thing on this aircraft. The helicopters locked into position beside the aircraft, so close the windows seemed to vibrate from their rotors. Passengers pressed against the glass, frozen between terror and disbelief. The sky outside was suddenly filled with dark shapes and spinning blades. Maya leveled the plane and keyed the cabin intercom. But when she spoke now, it wasn't the gentle airline voice anymore. It was sharp, commanding, impossible to ignore. "To the individual threatening this flight," she said, "you are now surrounded by military aircraft. Those helicopters are equipped with weapons and trained crews capable of engaging you through this fuselage. You have 10 seconds to drop your weapon and release the hostages." Behind the cockpit door, the hijacker laughed, but the sound was thinner now. "You're bluffing," he shouted. "You wouldn't risk the plane." Maya rolled the aircraft slightly to the right, just a few degrees. Outside, the Black Hawks moved with her instantly, sliding closer, tighter. From inside the cabin, it looked like the helicopters were about to scrape the wings. "Am I?" Maya replied calmly. "Those pilots can fly formation in combat at night. You think they can't hit a target they can see?" She keyed the radio. "Thunder, execute demonstration pass." "Copy, Kestrel." One helicopter broke formation and surged forward, door gunner tracking along the fuselage. The movement was fast, aggressive, terrifying. Passengers screamed. Some ducked, others prayed. Behind the door, panic finally took over. "Stop!" the hijacker yelled, his voice cracking. "Tell them to stop." "You have 5 seconds," Maya said. 4, 3. "I drop it," he shouted. "I drop the knife." Naomi's voice came over the intercom, shaking but alive. "Captain," she said. "He dropped it. Passengers are restraining him." Maya exhaled for the first time in what felt like hours. "Thunder," she said quietly. "Threat neutralized." Cheers broke out in parts of the cabin, mixed with sobs and disbelief. The storm had passed, the blade was gone. But the weight of what it cost, and what almost happened, still hung in the air, heavy and inescapable. The runway at Savannah International came into view through a haze of flashing lights. Fire trucks, ambulances, and police vehicles lined the pavement like a moving wall. The Black Hawks stayed with them, one on each side, silent guardians all the way down. The wheels touched the ground with a solid thump. For the first time since the nightmare began, the aircraft slowed instead of fought. Maya eased the jet off the runway and brought it to a stop in the emergency zone. Only then did the shaking start. Not in her hands, but deep in her muscles, the delayed cost of adrenaline. "Engines shut down," Liam said softly. His voice sounded older than it had that morning. Within seconds, armed agents boarded the aircraft. Through the cockpit monitor, Maya watched the hijacker pulled down the aisle, hands bound, head forced low. The man who had ruled the cabin with fear now looked small, broken. Medical teams rushed past, heading for the woman who didn't survive. A blanket covered her, but dark stains still showed through. Maya turned away, the victory hollowed by that single, brutal loss. An agent's voice came over the intercom. "Captain Reyes, this is Special Agent Cruz. The suspect is in custody. Please remain in the cockpit for debriefing." A few minutes later, another figure appeared in the doorway. A tall man in uniform, silver hair, posture sharp, eyes that carried decades of command. Major General Daniel Hart. He looked at Maya with something close to awe. "I never thought I'd see Kestrel flying passengers," he said quietly. "Word travels fast." Liam stared between them, confused, overwhelmed. Kestrel, he repeated. That's really you. Maya leaned back in her seat, exhausted beyond words. I didn't plan on becoming her again, she said. But today didn't give me a choice. Hart nodded slowly. You didn't just stop a hijacking, he said. That man was part of something bigger. What you did today likely saved lives you'll never see. Maya closed her eyes for a moment. One life lost, many saved. The math made sense, but the weight didn't disappear. Outside the cockpit, the emergency sirens faded into background noise. The danger was over. The consequences were just beginning. The cockpit door opened slowly, not with urgency, but with caution. A man stepped inside, his suit wrinkled, his eyes red and empty. He looked older than he should have, like the flight had taken years from him. My wife was sitting near the front, he said quietly. She was the one he grabbed. Maya stood, her chest tightening. I'm sorry, she said, and for once the words felt painfully small. The man shook his head, tears finally spilling over. She was terrified, he said. But when he threatened her, she told him something. She said whoever was flying this plane would not break. She believed in you. Maya felt the weight hit her all at once. The noise, the fear, the impossible choice, all of it collapsing into that single truth. She believed you would save everyone else, the man continued. And you did. So thank you. He turned and left before Maya could respond, leaving silence behind him. Outside, on the sunlit tarmac, the Black Hawk crews waited in formation. When Maya stepped down the stairs, they snapped to attention. One by one, they saluted, not because of rank, but because of respect. A young pilot stepped forward, holding his helmet. We became pilots because of stories about you, he said. About Kestrel. Maya hesitated, then signed her call sign across the helmet. The name she thought she had buried. The name that had come back when it was needed most. Major General Hart stood beside her, lowering his voice. Some people fly to escape who they were, he said. Others fly because of who they are. Kestrel didn't disappear. She just changed aircraft. Maya looked up at the sky, clear and endless. For years she had chased boring, quiet, safe. But now she understood something she had tried to forget. Purpose doesn't fade just because you walk away. Sometimes it waits. For the moment the world needs you again.